All right, we are here at the Automotive Mastermind booth, NADA 2024. I'm standing here, actually wildly standing here with your boot. I don't know if we can get a shot down there of the boot, but with Bill Egan, Vice President of Product here at Automotive Mastermind. Man, thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having us. It's great to talk to you again for another year.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what you guys are doing, what you're thinking. We're here at NADA, and NADA always has a theme, and the theme this year is really about how are we driving the future of automotive retail, not just sitting on our laurels, hoping that things happen, but actually driving forward. When you think about driving forward and the way automotive masterminding is enabling the industry, what does that mean to you this year?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they're going around the show and they're trying to understand, how do I deal with all this data? And that's probably one of the biggest things that everybody's truly trying to understand. The change of consumers, the way that people are kind of, brand loyalty isn't there. They're moving between different markets. They're looking at EVs. Hybrids are really, really hot now. So I have all this data and I have all this kind of consumer demand and changes in consumer demand. How do I bring it all together? And how do I make sure that, as my dealership, I can be prepared to message them the right way, to be able to talk to them, to kind of be where they're going to be. And so from Mastermind's perspective, we're a data company, right? We have unbelievable technology behind it to then build tools and solutions for dealers. But ultimately, we're that data company to simplify it in an easy way for them to be able to understand who the consumer is, what they want, how they're going to buy, what they're considering, and then bring that all together and put that into the hands of a salesperson.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the heart of every great relationship is great communication, and dealers have really been focusing recently on how do I communicate not just en masse with my consumer or my client or my potential client, but how do I individually communicate with them? And you guys are really enabling more of that one-to-one touch point. Can you talk a little bit about how you are working to make sure that one-to-one communication is really, really valuable for a dealer?
So the personalization is the utmost important aspect of that, right? But then really understanding who the customer is, what lifestyle changes they've had, what other vehicles they have in their household, and then be able to put that communication in an easy, consumable way for the consumer to say, hey, okay, now I can see this offer. I know I can take this offer into the dealership and I can actually get this down to, $1 or $2 of what they're seeing online or what they're seeing in the communication via email, digital, or even a print piece that comes to their house, and easily be able to take that, scan a QR code, click on an email, right? And then take them through other journeys. So when you're talking about digital retailing, when you're talking about the website experience, us being able to power some of those platforms with our insights and using those integrations to then continue the consumer down the journey, that's the most important part. The personalization on our side gets their interest, but then keeping that personalization all the way through the buying experience and the online experience is really crucial for them to be able to build trust for the dealership and ultimately come in.
I love how you said build trust. I think that's paramount when communicating or working from hello to goodbye with a consumer. Yep. As we went through 2021, 2022, we saw these all-time highs in the industry, and then 2023, especially second half Q4, began to present some challenges for dealers when it came to retailing or even servicing. What challenges do you see coming through in 2023, and how do you feel we're going to address those challenges?
So you talk about highs in 21, 22. Yes, profits were high. Inventory was really low, right? We hit our low point within there, but that's really come back in 2023. And so now dealers are sitting on more inventory. They're trying to figure out how to turn it faster, because ultimately what's happening is you're having aging inventory, especially around EVs and some other high level models. And you look at what the manufacturers are building. They're building the high-end trim elements, the pricier ones. And so really what they have to be able to do is find customers that want to get into those vehicles at a price point that they can handle. So understanding who's in market for an EV or considering an EV, being able to target those people, but then also look at your inventory and find the butts for the seats. And so we built tools like Turn and other products out there that says, hey, I've got this piece of inventory, now give me the best customers who are most likely to buy that particular inventory. And then also look at from an online perspective, who's clicking on what? Doing that digital identity resolution to say, hey, I can go find Barbara on your website, she's clicked on this particular vehicle. Now, as Mastermind, let's get that into the hands of your salespeople to have an effective conversation.
Amazing. So taking it all the way from marketing to the actual interaction with a person. Now, NADA is historically just a place where people are talking about the innovations and the changes in product that they've done. What are you most excited about this year that Automotive Mastermind is bringing to the industry?
I really think it's the true insights of getting it to the salesperson. And that's the part that we sit on so much data, we know what the consumer is going to do, but ultimately putting that in the hands of the salesperson, we need to be able to answer those questions for them. If we say this person scores really high for a particular, particular model or particular vehicle, ultimately the salesperson is going to ask why. And how do I then craft that message in order to effectively reach out to them and have a valuable conversation that's most beneficial to the dealer, but also to the customer?
That's awesome. Well, Bill, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. You're definitely challenging the perception in the industry that we aren't a great data industry, that we don't communicate well, and giving the dealers the tools to do that. Appreciate you spending time, and congrats on a great show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Yeah.